deportation operations are well underway, and the Trump administration is emphasizing that it's not just ICE participating in this, but it's a whole of government approach. We know the DEA, the FBI, a coalition of federal agencies are involved in these operations that you're seeing across the country. And ICE is calling these targeted enforcement operations, using that language very specifically to signal that they are working through a list of criminals, people who have been convicted of crimes, and that these are not indiscriminate searches of schools or of workplaces across the country, but that they're trying to find specific individuals. However, in an interview with NBC News just yesterday, the border czar acknowledged that there are these so-called collateral arrests. So if undocumented or unauthorized immigrants are found with those who they are targeting, that they will also round those individuals up and process them for deportation. And that's why you're hearing in cities across the country, including here in Chicago, there are these Know Your Rights workshops, city leaders emphasizing that it's important for members of the community to know what's required of them and what's not required of them when interacting with federal agents. I attended one yesterday, and one thing that was picked up on was that there is a sense of fear and also speculation for these increased enforcements that you're seeing, again, not just here in Chicago, but across the country. But the administration, Trump administration, acknowledging that this is something that folks can expect to continue as President Trump continues his push for these mass deportations. Well, here in Chicago and cities across the country,
just yesterday, we saw about 1,000 arrests by ICE. And just for context, in 2024, under the last year of the Biden administration, there was a daily average of about 312 arrests. So definitely an increase there. They targeted those with warrants. We also saw the DEA, ATF, and FBI assist as the Trump administration is looking to get more to help Border Patrol and ICE agents. And we saw it happen in Chicago, Denver, Houston, Miami, and San Antonio, right in that border state of Texas. Just yesterday, we saw about 1,000.
Law enforcement from multiple federal agencies converge on Chicago. New video tonight showing ICE and other federal agents knocking on doors and making arrests. ICE confirming, alongside multiple federal partners, they've started, quote, conducting enhanced targeted operations today in Chicago to enforce U.S. immigration law.
If you're in the country legally, it's not okay. It's not okay to violate laws of this country.
White House border czar Tom Homan on ABC's This Week, admitting there may be arrests of people with no criminal background, particularly in sanctuary cities.
Sanctuary cities lock us out of the jails. So instead of ICE being able to arrest the bad guy, the criminal alien, in the safety and security of a jail where the officer's safe, the alien's safe, and the public's safe, sanctuary cities release them back in the community.
New pictures released by the Drug Enforcement Agency show Homan and Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove alongside federal agents in Chicago. ICE says it's working with the FBI, ATF, DEA, Border Patrol, and U.S. Marshals Service. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson weighing in with a statement tonight, saying in part, there have been confirmed reports of ICE enforcement activity in Chicago today. Per city code, Chicago police were not involved in this immigration enforcement activity. On CNN today, Governor J.B. Pritzker said violent criminals who've been convicted and are undocumented should be deported. But he's afraid President Trump will cast a wider net with his long-promised mass deportations.
Now, what they're also doing, though, and it's quite disturbing, is they're going after people who are law-abiding, who are holding down jobs, who have families here, who may have been here for a decade or 2 decades, and they're often our neighbors and our friends. And why are we going after them?
Illinois Senators Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth releasing a joint statement tonight saying in part, quote, we stand with the immigrant community in Chicago and across the country, and our offices and caseworkers are ready to help those who are improperly caught up in these raids.
Last week, NBC News got an up-close view of what a typical deportation flight looks like and a step-by-step description of the entire journey from ICE officials who explained the complicated and expensive process. First, it starts with an arrest by ICE agents. Then, immigrants are taken to be detained at more than 100 local ICE facilities. From there, they may have a chance to go before a judge and plead their case. Typically, this process has taken weeks if it's fast-tracked, or if not, it has even taken years. If a judge agrees that the person should be deported, ICE will fly them to one of 4 staging areas. ICE has about 10 planes just like this that they can use to deport migrants.
This is the end of the journey for them. Every individual that we boarded in the plane had their day before an immigration judge. The case was heard, they had their due process. Every possible remedy that could have been applied or it was exhausted. And it was determined by an immigration judge that they don't have a right to remain in the United States, and that's why they're here today.
Parents who have had children in the United States will have to decide if their children are deported with them or left behind. There are between 15 to 20 guards on board, and everyone is shackled, except for children and parents traveling with kids. In the last year, ICE was able to remove over 270,000 migrants, many of those on planes just like this. But if the Trump administration wants to deport more migrants, they're going to have to spend more money, not just on planes like these, but on the pilots, the staff, and the detention space to hold migrants before they board these planes. So what will happen to these people when they land in Honduras? How will they get back to their homes?
The respective government has some assistance, and oftentimes, like here in the United States, there are non-government organizations who wait at the airport and offer assistance to help them get to where they need to go.
Once they land, they'll be interviewed by local officials and given a medical evaluation before being transported to their hometowns.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
But you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
We Dr. Phil. We got Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, you know, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier today, Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents showed up at Hemline Elementary School. School staff followed CPS established protocols. They kept ICE agents outside of the school and contacted CPS's Law Department and CPS's Office of Safety and Security for further guidance. The ICE agents were not allowed into the school and were not permitted to speak to any students or staff members. Here is the bottom line. Our students and staff are safe. Our protocols were followed. CPS will continue to protect our students and their families. In alignment with the Illinois Trust Act and Chicago's Welcoming City Ordinance, CPS does not ask for our family's immigration status. We will not coordinate with immigration and custom enforcement agents. Does not share student records with ICE, except in the rare case where there is a court order or consent from a parent or a guardian. We will not allow ICE agents access to CPS facilities unless they produce a criminal judicial warrant signed by a federal judge. And we will not admit ICE agents into our school based upon an administrative warrant, an ICE detainer, or other document issued by an agency enforcing civil immigration laws. Earlier today, Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Let's kick it.
It's really happening. Them people knocked at my door last night. ICE. No bullshit. Around 2 a.m., we got a knock on the door. I was looking through the peephole. It was like 3 men standing there. They was knocking on my door, and I could see them knock on the neighbor door and everybody else's door, but I didn't fucking answer because I clearly knew who they were, and I knew who they were here for. And I literally watched people get walked out of their houses, and up there, Mexicans downstairs, Mexicans across from, literally everyone around me. I live on this whole side where all the Mexicans stay at. Seriously, because I know they party every night, and they still ain't invited me for no tacos. But yes, and then I woke up this morning, and it's Sunday, so all the work trucks usually be outside. Like, I saw 5 work trucks usually be outside because they don't work on Sundays. I see 1 truck out. And I just want to say this is very much sad. And like I said, only 1 truck is out there. It's usually 5 work trucks. It's usually packed in our parking lot on Sundays where we can never find parking because everybody's usually home. There's one work truck out there today, literally one work truck. The parking lot's freaking empty. There's parking literally right downstairs. And yeah, I really watched them knock on.
A Washington police chief said his department will not cooperate with federal ICE agents to deport illegal immigrants. In a statement, Mount Vernon Police Chief Daniel Chrisman said that the police department won't assist federal actions and won't initiate any investigations into illegal immigrants unless that person is suspected of a serious crime. I guess illegally entering and residing in the country isn't serious, even though the federal government says otherwise. And the Department of Justice, by the way, prohibits the concealing or harboring of unauthorized aliens or engaging in a conspiracy to aid and abet unauthorized illegal immigrants, which makes you wonder whether this police chief is breaking the law for political virtue. Have fun with the consequences of those actions. A Washington police chief.
POV. You ran from ICE to let the others escape. Then they find out you are born in the U.S. and have to release you. POV.
Major developments in President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. ICE agents carrying out raids in sanctuary cities, including Boston, Newark, New Jersey. Newark's mayor says multiple people were detained without a warrant, including U.S. citizens and military veterans. ICE says it arrested more than 500 people just yesterday, which is nearly double the daily average of arrests under the Biden administration in September.
NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin is live outside a business that was raided in Newark. So much to talk about on the immigration front, Aaron. We just heard from the mayor there of Newark. How are the cities reacting to these ICE raids?
Well, city officials, Vicky, here are outraged. They're calling what happened at this seafood depot yesterday unconstitutional. According to employees that we've been speaking to, they say that ICE agents arrived unannounced without warrant and proceeded to raid the depot. There was a press conference with city officials and community organizations just a short while ago.
They were heavily armed. There was no prior announcement. They were blocking off entrances and exits. They were scrambling up delivery ramps. They were banging down bathroom doors to make sure no one was hiding inside. And most importantly, as the mayor said, they did all of this without being unable to produce a single name or a single warrant.
Now, according to the mayor, a number of individuals were detained during the course of a raid, including undocumented residents, as well as at least one U.S. citizen who was detained and pressed about his military documentation. Now, we have heard from ICE specifically about that allegation, saying, quote, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement may encounter U.S. citizens while conducting field work and may request identification to establish an individual's identity.
Major developments in President Trump's crackdown.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
ICE Boston quickly takes down its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction.
Señor, ¿cómo se llama?
And this Dominican illegal alien charged with assault with a deadly weapon and heroin trafficking. Officers also arrested this Guatemalan MS-13 gang member facing gun charges. ICE says he was released from local custody just the day before. Their detainer request was ignored because of sanctuary policies. And in a sign of shifting priorities with the new Trump administration, this man, who was in the same apartment as the target, was also arrested after ICE determined he's also in the U.S. illegally.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those three.
It's now becoming clear that all these deportations are not about protecting Americans. It's about quotas. According to this Washington Post report, it seems like Trump is not happy with the number of deportations so far, and he issued quotas to ICE officers, 75 immigrants per day, or else there will be consequences. Which means that they're going to be arresting not just criminals. Now more than ever, it is important for you to understand your rights. Your rights at home, at work, or if you are stopped on the street. From this week, they will be arresting more and more people because they need to fill those quotas. And most likely, most of these search warrants, arrest warrants, are not going to be signed by judges. So know your rights, remain silent, do not sign anything, and please, please call your lawyers. We got this. It's now becoming
around the country are being told by President Trump's border czar to arrest as many criminals as possible who are in the country illegally. Close to 1,000 arrests were made on Sunday alone. This is all part of President Trump's mass deportation plan. There's an estimated 11 million illegal migrants in the United States who could be arrested at any moment. The administration says that they are targeting criminals first, but collateral arrests could happen, meaning anyone else who is illegal and present during that arrest could also be arrested. According to reports, authorities are looking through jail, court, and probation records, looking for anybody who is deportable that ICE may have missed in the past. The deportations are happening via military flight, which is the first time in history. So far, 2,681 arrests have been made since Donald Trump took office. So far, what's being called enhanced targeted operations have happened in Chicago, Atlanta, LA, Colorado, and Austin, Texas. ICE field offices around.
The governor of Illinois said after that, after a week of Republicans sowing fear and chaos, the first reports of raids in Chicago are at an elementary school. Targeting children and separating families is cruel and un-American. To be clear again.
To help you understand the news regarding mass deportations and ICE.
So y'all, this is like so crazy. I'm at my son's school this evening, picking him up from after school, right? So I'm sitting in the office and I see a little boy, like maybe like 8 or 9, a little Spanish boy. So I guess they have been trying to get in touch with his parents and calling them, and no one's picking up, and no one came to pick him up from school, from after school. And next thing you know, they're steady calling people, steady trying to get in touch, and they then asked him like, hey, do you know you have a cousin or an aunt, an uncle, anybody? So he's like, no. So they went to the back. I guess all the people in the office went to the back to go talk, and then they came back out and they asked him to come to the back. So the little boy goes to the back, and then he comes back out, and then I saw the lady in the office try to call, I guess again, his parents. Nobody answered. So maybe about 5 minutes later, y'all, these people walked into school and came and got that little boy. Like, that was insane. Like, they literally came in there in the office and got the little boy and walked out. And the little boy was crying. Like I literally cried. Like, this was so crazy. And I'm so glad that, it wasn't no other kids around to see this and witness this, because, like, that was crazy.
Por diferentes partes.
I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
Nicki Minaj was right. We need to really keep an ounce of leaner. And we need to call for 5150 because, like...
At a U.S. Army airfield in El Paso, exclusive video obtained by CBS News shows shackled detainees boarding a military cargo plane, one of 2 C-17s to depart the southern border carrying migrants, and landing in Guatemala Friday morning.
Deportation's going very well. We're getting the bad, hard criminals out.
The White House calls it the official start of their long-promised mass deportation campaign, posting video of Marines operating at the southern border. This week, the Pentagon announced the deployment of 1,500 service members to assist U.S. Border Patrol. Across the country, immigration agents arrested 538 undocumented migrants yesterday. That tops the average of 312 arrests per day during the Biden administration, and it includes 373 alleged criminal detainees. In Newark, ICE agents raided a business without a warrant.
We can't just let this happen and not say anything.
Newark's mayor slammed the operation.
We believe that there were 3 people who they say were undocumented that they detained, but they also detained folks that were, in fact, citizens of this country.
And we've just learned there was another deportation flight, a military aircraft bound to Mexico, planned this week, but it was denied access to land. A U.S. official tells CBS News that flight never took off. Nancy?
Nicole Saganga, thank you so much.